There are many pivotal moments in Star Wars, events that shaped the stars, conflicts that decided the fate of entire generations, acts of violence, heroism, and betrayal that echo across history. But beneath all of the spectacle, there exists something far quieter, but far more devastating. A single conversation. There were no armies, no grand duel, no displays of force power, just words. And yet, this exchange may be the most dangerous turning point in the life of Anakin Skywalker. This is not just a battle, it's a debate for his soul, a collision of worldviews, a dismantling of a belief, and a perfectly constructed argument delivered with such precision that Anakin never fully understands what is being taken from him. Greetings again, Acolytes and Lore Junkies. Welcome back to the Archives. With something that feels disarmingly simple, almost reasonable, Palpatine breaks Anakin. In this video, we are going to break down this single conversation that happens in the novelization for Revenge of the Sith, the dialogue itself, the deeper meaning behind the words, and the psychological strategy that allows Palpatine to do something no Sith Lord, no enemy, or no war ever could: shatter Anakin from the inside. Hopefully by the end of this analysis, you will have a far clearer understanding of what Anakin was thinking in this moment, what ultimately broke him, how Palpatine constructed the perfect argument to make the most powerful Jedi of his era willingly step into the darkness. The Revenge of the Sith novelization stands as a masterpiece in its own right. It's not simply an adaptation of the film, but it's far deeper in an exploration of its characters, their motivations, and the unseen psychological warfare that is shaping the tragedy. Throughout much of the novel, the interactions between Palpatine and Anakin are strikingly warm. There's no overt menace here, there's no theatrical display of darkness, but instead, it's far more subtle. Palpatine is Anakin's confidant, he's his advocate, he's his mentor. In many ways, he's something even more significant to him, a father figure. Where Qui-Gon Jinn would have provided guidance rooted in wisdom and balance, Palpatine quietly absorbs that vacant role and reshapes it into something terrible. This is support without any restraint. It's all validation without boundaries. And by the time we reach their most consequential exchange, Palpatine is no longer merely a political leader in Anakin's life. He is trust. He is safety. He is the one voice Anakin has learned to believe truly understands him. It is within this fragile space of trust that one of the most devastating conversations in Star Wars unfolds. Let's examine the full exchange. I am offering you anything. Ask and it is yours. A glass of water, it's yours. A bag full of Karuska gems, yours. Look out the window behind me, Anakin. Pick something, and it's yours. Anakin responds, "Is this some kind of joke?" Palpatine's face hardens. The time for jokes has passed, Anakin. I have never been more serious. Pick something. Anything. Alright, how about one of those Soro Sub custom speeders? Done. Anakin looks shocked. Are you serious? You know how much one of those costs? You could practically outfit a battle cruiser. Would you prefer a battle cruiser? How about the senatorial apartments? Anakin thinks for a moment. A private apartment. The whole building. Palpatine smiles. Done. But Anakin responds with, "It's privately owned." "Not anymore," Palpatine says. "You can't just..." "Yes, I can. It's yours. Is there anything else? Name it." Anakin thinks. "Alright then. Corellia. I'll take Corellia." Anakin thinks for a moment. "I can't figure out if you're kidding or just completely insane." "I am neither, Anakin. I am trying to impress upon you a fundamental truth of our relationship. A fundamental truth about yourself." Anakin looks out the window. What if I really wanted the Corellian system? The whole 5 brothers. All of it. Then it would be yours, Anakin. You can have the whole sector if you like. Do you understand now? I will give you anything you want. And then Anakin asks for what he has to do in return. He's smart enough to know that he's not going to actually get an entire galactic sector just from the goodness of Palpatine's heart, friend or no friend. Anakin responds, "And in exchange, what do I have to do?" Palpatine says, "You have to do what you want." "What I want?" "Yes, Anakin. Yes, exactly that. Only that. Do the one thing that the Jedi fear the most. Make up your own mind. Follow your own conscience. Do what you think is right. I know that you have been longing for a life greater than that of an ordinary Jedi. Commit yourself to that life. I know you burn for greater power than any Jedi can wield. Give yourself permission to gain that power. and allow yourself the license to use it. You have dreamed of leaving the Jedi Order, having a family of your own, one that is based on love, not on enforced rules of self-denial. As the conversation unfolds, Palpatine does something remarkably subtle. He uses objects, material things, possessions, requests of escalating absurdity. But these offers are not actually about speeders, buildings, or entire planets. They're just instruments. Each proposal serves a singular purpose, to reveal something to Anakin. At first, Anakin treats the exchange with disbelief, with curiosity, and then finally unease, because the scale is escalating. A vehicle, a structure, a planet, an entire system. And the unsettling truth is this: Palpatine is not exaggerating. If Anakin genuinely demanded any of it, Palpatine would find a way to deliver. But as the conversation deepens, the real revelation emerges. Anakin does not need Palpatine's permission at all, because beneath the spectacle of limitless generosity lies a far more dangerous idea. Power in itself is Anakin's permission. If Anakin possesses the ability to claim something, if he holds the strength to dominate and to control it, then by Palpatine's logic, he is already entitled to it. The only reason Anakin hesitates is because he is a Jedi, is because of the limits of the Jedi. But Palpatine doesn't stop at dismantling the limits, he pushes. Because once the idea of entitlement is planted, once the illusion of restriction is fractured, Palpatine introduces a final thought. Do what you believe is right, not what the Jedi Council decrees or what they permit, just what you decide. Control the galaxy as you see fit, shape it according to your will, impose order as you believe it must be imposed. He reframes domination. It's not tyranny anymore, but it's clarity, ownership. Commit to a life greater than a Jedi. Acknowledge the truth of ambition. Accept that your hunger for power is not a corruption, but its identity. And most critically of all, grant yourself permission to wield that power without apology. Because as Palpatine reminds Anakin, this isn't a new desire. The longing is always there. The desire to leave the Order, to break your restraints, to have a family, to have a future beyond doctrine. So why resist any of it? Why deny things that you have always wanted? Why cling to rules designed by those that neither understand or trust you? Palpatine's argument converges into a single devastating implication. Anakin is not flawed. He is simply different. And in that difference, that power, that is why he is feared. By the time Sidious finally unveils himself as a Sith Lord, the battlefield has already shifted. He's not exposing himself as an hidden enemy, he's redefining himself. Because throughout the exchange, Palpatine has carefully constructed a mirror, a reflection of Anakin's own internal struggles. The Jedi don't trust Palpatine, he implies, for the same reason they struggle to trust Anakin, because of power. Power that exceeds their comfort, power that challenges their doctrine, power that exists beyond their ability to control. In this reframed reality, Palpatine is no longer an outsider aligned with darkness. He is familiar. He is, in many ways, Anakin. This is why he's comfortable revealing himself. Sith no longer is synonymous with monster. It's been softened and humanized, even rationalized. To Anakin, Palpatine is someone misunderstood by an institution that fears what they cannot dominate. He's somebody that's facing judgment, alienation, and execution. Palpatine possesses power outside of the accepted boundaries of the Jedi. And this is where Palpatine's argument is lethal. He has already called into question the Jedi's moral constraints. He has proven to Anakin that his frustration is proof of his clarity, already legitimized the idea that power itself confers entitlement to all, that Anakin's sense of deserving more isn't arrogance, but it's a revealing truth of the galaxy, that power runs all things. Then Palpatine asks the question, if deviating from the Jedi doctrine invites death, then what precisely separates Palpatine and Anakin? But more importantly, what separates Anakin from Palpatine? By this point in the story, Anakin is no longer operating from a place of clarity. He's exhausted, sleep-deprived from relentless visions of his wife's death, restless for days, even weeks. He is trapped in a cycle of fear, and layered on top of all of that is something corrosive: isolation. He's ostracized by the very institution that's meant to guide him, monitored, and distrusted. In this psychological state, Palpatine is not a villain. He's relief. He's his friend. He is the only figure that does not dismiss Anakin's fear, his attachment, or his pain. The only one who acknowledges that those emotions are real. But what makes this moment truly a masterpiece and deeply tragic is that empathy alone is not what breaks Anakin. Understanding is not what shatters Anakin. It is this argument, the carefully constructed worldview that Palpatine presents, a dismantling of his beliefs, the quiet, surgical reframing of power, morality, and his identity. Palpatine in this conversation creates the foundation of Darth Vader's Sithhood. Anakin Skywalker is not simply corrupted. Anakin Skywalker is not a monster. He's a victim of exhaustion, of fear, and of alienation. Of a predator who waited patiently in the shadow, studying every fracture, every insecurity, and every unhealed wound, waiting for the precise moment to strike. This is one of the most important moments in galactic history, but there is no duel, no blaster fire, no armies marching towards war. It is just two men, and through nothing more than words, the galaxy itself is broken. But anyway, my friends, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on how Palpatine breaks Skywalker? And what are your thoughts on their exchange in the novelization for Revenge of the Sith? A true masterpiece, and if you haven't read it yet, I highly encourage you to do so if you're a Star Wars fan. But now I turn it over to you. Is this the argument that broke Anakin? And, in some way, does Palpatine make sense? Is he right on some deep psychological, terrible level? As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and may the Force serve you.